And our first trade, as you can see, we took 7 total trades, guys. First trade on crude was a loss. But you know what, guys? This is the best way to handle a loss right here. I always say this to my clients, guys. This is the best way to handle a loss. If you know how to follow your rules and you take a first trade loss, look right back at the market and look to get right back in. Because usually, if you're good, right, if you know your rules, if you know your patterns, chances are high the loss you took is just because something happened completely out of your control, right? Maybe the sellers were a little bit late. Maybe momentum curled early. Okay, so when you take a loss, if you're kind of scratching your head thinking to yourself, boy, why didn't this trade work out? Okay, stop questioning and focus back on your price action, because chances are high you're going to see that trade work out. It just will happen after you've been bounced out of it. So we did that right here. We took our first trade of the morning here. We come up. Short-term trend up. We're going to bounce off this overhead resistance, right? We'll look for a breaker pattern long, but we never got it. We're going to mark up my swing low, and we'll take a break below this swing low for a breaker pattern, two-step pattern short. Okay, this looked great. We had support here at 87s. We got filled to 83. We saw big sellers, momentum pointing down, right? Everything looked great. Here's where I got in right there. And what do you know, right? We didn't get the first target filled. Momentum quickly there shifted and pointed back up. If you follow me down here, momentum quickly shifted and pointed back up. And the minute that I saw momentum shift and point back up, the buyers jumped back in the tape, and I knew right there, get out of that trade, hit the close button, and get out of that trade as soon as possible. Now, knowing we were in Wacky Wednesday made it even easier, because I knew right away, Wacky Wednesday, you're going to see lots of unpredictable, unexpected volume, which might get you into a trade or may stop you out of a trade. Okay, so don't be afraid to take that trade off the table early if you notice you made a mistake. Well, we quickly realized that we were still on the right side of the market. The sellers still stayed in. Momentum on my slower time frame was still pointing down, so we were still confirmed to the downside here. So I looked for re-entry. Only a couple moments later, I looked for a swing low and a break below that swing low, making sure we had everything this time lining up to our rules. 950 on the trade, 82 was the fill. We took our +4, 2 off there, 2 off at 2. That's 12 ticks or 120 USD. So we lost $80 in the first trade, but because we knew exactly what our exit rules were, we kept those losses low. Then we maximized our profit on the second trade, made that money right back on a very small trade here before, of course, you can see it whipped around against us. Okay, so 2 trades there, guys. 1 loss, 1 winner. The big thing here was how we handled that loss. Okay, next up, third trade of the morning on the euro. This was a breaker pattern long. Short-term trend is up. We're going to break above this red line of overhead resistance, 23.15. We mark up our swing high. We break above that swing high for a breaker pattern long. 23.12 was the fill. We took 2 off at 4, 2 off at 1. 8 plus 2 is 10. Right, now this is actually wrong. This is $125. But 10 ticks, 12.50 per tick, right? 125 USD for our third trade of the morning, right? Not a bad way to get out of that first trade loss. Okay, so at this point, we're up 20, 30 ticks right now, and we're feeling pretty good, but we had to make sure we didn't lose focus, right? Today's Wacky Wednesday. This market can take this profit away very quickly here. Now, back on gold here, another example of the wave and the two-step combo, right? We've done a lot of these lately, guys. We're going to come down on gold at 10 o'clock. We're going to bounce off the low of day. The low of day always gives us that opportunity for a two-step pattern long. There was initially, guys, here was your initial entry for a two-step right there. We took the second move, though, above that swing high for your two-step pattern long. Again, bouncing off those lows. We're always looking for that two-step off the low of day. 33.7 was the fill. 2 off at 4, 1 off at 8, 1 off at 1. 8, 16, 17 ticks or 170 USD for a two-step pattern long off the low of day. We weren't done there yet, guys. As long as we get that trigger line above that swing low, that swing high. The swing high here was at 33.4. As long as we get that trigger line here above that swing high, I'll then buy this coming back down to test that trigger line for a wave pattern long. Okay, so again, it's going to be a two-step pattern. The two-step pattern will get the trade rising, and then we'll simply buy a pullback right here. We'll buy this pullback into a rising trigger line above my swing high, called a wave pattern. 34.2 is the fill. We got our +4, 2 off at 4, then came tumbling back down before it reversed and tested the lows again. So of course you can see here our trade management strategy comes into play here. Take the first target, move our stop to entry +1, lock out all that risk. Great example here of a back-to-back winner on the gold. So at 10.08, we took out 17 ticks. We made another 8 ticks on the 10.10 contract trade. And you can see here, guys, we've got one more left on gold, 2 more trades left today. The final trade on gold, a nice, a little bit more advanced 2-step here. Short-term trend was up. We bounce off the open of the day up top here, guys. We bounce off overhead resistance at 36.5, and we come back down. We mark up our swing low. Now, normally, we'd take the initial break of this swing low. But what do we see here? We're not below the trigger line. The trigger line here at 35.2, that was the level of support that I had to get below. So get me below 35.2, and then I'll look for a trade here. We saw big sellers come in just below 35s. 34.7 was my fill. On the gold at 1045, 2-step reversal off these highs. 2 off at 4, 2 off at 3. 11 ticks there, guys, or 110 USD. Another easy pattern. Had to get a little bit more advanced here, though, because we had to get below that 35.2. Remember, when it comes to the 2-step pattern, I don't care so much about the slope of my trigger line. I care more about the location of that trigger line, right? Make sure that support is now resistance, right? Get below that trigger line so we can get this thing to drop for us here, and we did exactly that here for our last trade on gold. And then finally, guys, here we wrap things up with a little tiny scratch trade here on crude. This was a breaker pattern long. Nice, easy pattern, as you can see here, guys. We didn't get much out of it. Short-term trend up. We're going to break above the red line here, mark up our swing high, break above that swing high. There's your breaker pattern long at 76.90. Okay, we expected to have this thing come all the way up and test this big round number of 77. That's where our goal was, but we never got it. It came crumbling back down. And once again, you can easily see how whippy and how unpredictable this market was today because of Wacky Wednesday. And you can more importantly see just how important our trade management was, because if our trade management was not prepared to tighten that stop up, lock out all that risk, well, of course, this trade, among others, would have been a +4 and then a -6, right? I don't want to make +4 and then, of course, when it reverses, give away 6, right? That's no way to make money. So tighten up that stop, follow our trade management, guys. There's a lot of trade management information on our blog right now. Go to the tutorial section. You'll learn more about trade management on the blog. All right, let's see here. Let's recap. So 3, 6, 7 total trades, 58 ticks, 605 USD. Another big winning day here, only 4 contracts. And we started off with a first trade loss. Not a bad way to get our day started. Let's prep for tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday, June 17th. Now, busy day tomorrow. 8:30, we got consumer prices and jobless claims. At 10 o'clock tomorrow, we got the Philly Fed and leading indicators. We've got nat gas at 10:30 tomorrow. And, of course, tomorrow we'll do a special webinar. We've got a couple members that have been trying to get a custom trade plan. And tomorrow, 11:30, we're going to talk more about that custom trade plan for different scenarios. So make sure you guys come out and join us. We'll open things back up tomorrow at 7:45 a.m., so be here for that. All right, webinars on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so be here tomorrow for the webinar on Thursday. And don't forget, guys, the beginner's course has all kinds of information to get you guys started with us. The beginner's course has your entry rules, your routine, our indicators, all the markets we trade, and the beginner's course will build that firm foundation to then build your intermediate and your advanced course on top of it. The advanced course, lifetime membership, will start showing you guys how to make profit with those fundamentals in the advanced course. All right, another great day. My name is Joseph James. Be here, guys, 7:45 a.m. Don't miss a tick, and we'll see you guys back here tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.